Hello, yo. This is Daniel. Um, a little tired today. Didn't sleep well, but I still wanted to get a video out. I've been trying to get better about that. I don't. I do a lot better talking with someone than I do talking to a screen. So this video medium is cumbersome for me, as I'm sure by now y'all have realized. um, but the thing I wanted to talk with you today about is to go into more detail on the stress factor for PTSD. It's something I think a lot of people don't understand well. The easiest way to describe it is to, well, reference a moment of fight or flight. So just imagine somebody like walk up and just, punch you in the nose just out of the blue. And, for like that first 5 seconds or so, it's just everything is so crisp, so intense, so detailed. Like your world goes from like 720 to 4K in that instant. And you deal with the situation. And then after the moment, everything kind of settles down, dulls back out. You go back to the 720 and continue your life. With PTSD, that resolution doesn't go back. You stay at that 4K area. And on paper, it sounds nice. It's everybody wants to watch in 4K, forget 720, whatever. But there's another factor that people don't take into consideration there. Um, we all have a threshold to stimulation, whether it's positive or negative or whatever. Once we reach that threshold, any additional stimulation just becomes stress. And I can give you a good example. Those happy, chipper people, they're just excited about everything and always have a good day and annoy everybody else. You know, at first, they can be fun to be around because they're such a positive contrast to everyday reality. But where their threshold is much higher, your everyday person's threshold quickly gets reached of all that stimulation, that energy. And it starts turning into stress. And these people, just by being happy, start to annoy you. They don't intend to annoy you. You don't even intend to be annoyed. But it's just reality of our biological limitations. Well, biological and psychological. It plays both. It's a psychosomatic game there, which, to be fair, all things related to stress are. It's not all in your mind. It's not all in your body. It's always a combination of the two when it comes to stress. It's like a bridge between the mind and body. So I've tried to explain to people what it's like, because I got PTSD when I was 16. Fun times, let me tell you. And it's basically you're in fight or flight the rest of your life. It never stops. And especially at the time, I had no idea what was going on. I was in my early 20s before I realized something was wrong. As I said in the other video, if I recall correctly, I know I repeat myself sometimes. I don't like watching myself, so I don't go back and keep watching my other videos. Did I say that? I don't, whatever. Um, Besides, repetition is a key to memory, so it is what it is. The analogy that I've come up with to try to help better illustrate how it functions and works is, imagine your threshold is a reservoir of water, and it has an inlet and it has an outlet. The inlet represents the amount of stimulation coming in, and the outlet represents the amount of stress you're able to release. The reservoir itself is that homeostasis, that threshold. And in theory, the inlet and the outlet should be balanced well enough to where the reservoir stays relatively even. Now, during a fight or flight instance, that inlet expands and the reservoir goes up a bit. And as it settles back down, that inlet slowly filters it back down to that acceptable level. But with PTSD, and I'm sure at least to some degree other anxiety disorders, it's not the only one that affects your threshold levels. That inlet, it doesn't go back. It doesn't get smaller again. It stays open. And as the reservoir fills up with stress, it starts to overflow. And that is when you start seeing the behavioral differences, the rushes of aggression, the alienation where they just separate from everything because it can no longer handle the stress and stimulation of social interaction at all. And it takes so much longer to release the stress from everyday stimulation. Because with the analogy of the 4K to 720, consider how much more information you're getting with every little moment. How much more is coming in, and you can only get it out so fast. The outlet is still 720 regardless. It's just the way it works. Personally, the only way I've learned to deal with it, as I said in the other video, is I have to limit my stimulation levels. So I have to spend time to myself, study breathing techniques, meditation techniques, just things to try to limit that access for the inlet to get the flow, so I could slowly try to keep that reservoir to acceptable levels. Anyway, I know a lot of people don't understand why people with even just general anxiety disorders struggle with things like social interaction, with stress, why they just don't relax. Like people, hey, just relax. It's not that easy. It's not easy at all, depending on the extreme nature of the disorder. And adjustments have to be made. That's also why I'm disabled. Because, I tried for years to work, regardless of how stressed out and difficult it made life. And I could only work for, a number of months before I just get completely overwhelmed from the stress. I would have to quit, and then finding another job, and just it was a cycle. So I had to look myself in the face and swallow my pride and put in that paperwork for disability, because I didn't want to be a burden to those around me. I didn't want to have to leech off them and make their life more difficult just for the sake of me being there. So, still not easy, but it's something. Anyway, just wanted to get a video out. So hopefully this helps people to better understand some of these struggles that people are dealing with. Anyway, like, subscribe, all that ruckus. I got like 1 subscriber, so I don't make much of a difference. But y'all have a nice evening. Bye.